All right, Jet fans. It is Thursday, March the 19th, 2026, and we got to talk about the Jetsies because there's a lot of, seems to be a lot of toxicity and negativity and pessimism going around about the Jets right now. In spite of the fact that we've improved the most out of any team in the NFL, according to Kevin Cole, and unexpected points, he puts it to, he uses a system. He says we're number one in terms of improvement. And this time, as opposed to most of the years when we're like, yay, we improved, this time we have a proven quarterback. Well, he's proven to at least be good, okay. And so it's a little different this time. Now, it may be because of the old military background of Frankie that when I receive an order from the captain, it then becomes my job and everybody else's job to execute on that order. And what are you talking about the military for, Frankie? Well, one of our captains this year is going to be Demario Davis, so I call him Captain Demario. And the way I see it, when he said the Jets are going to shock the world, to me, we now have our marching orders. The captain said so. Listen, before the final order, even in the military, you can have all kinds of arguments you want. You can discuss this and that. Hey, what about this? Shouldn't we be doing that? What have we considered this? Well, I don't know. What about this? And you can do all of that. But once the commanding officer has made the decision and made the command, then you go and execute it. Well, but we're the fans, Frankie. What are we going to do? And the way I see it is maybe you'll learn, maybe you'll be a little shocked by it, but we'll talk about that right after this.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustle and dreams in every loop. In the park he's...
All right, now, as we were talking about, we were saying Captain Demario has given the marching orders. The Jets are going to shock the world this year. So what do we as fans have to do to carry out the orders of our captain? Oh, captain, yes, captain. What is it? Oh, captain, my captain. There's it. Oh, captain, my captain. You got to give a salute and say, all right, Captain Demario. But what do we as fans then have to do to help the Jets to shock the world? We got to execute on this mission. Well, what if we, instead of being toxic and negative and pessimistic and we're never going to do it, it never works, and would he sell the team? Instead of that, perhaps, maybe what we could do is a little bit of optimism. How could things work out well? What would we need to do, and what would need to happen for us to obtain and achieve our objectives? Let's look at things that way. First of all, how did Muji and Glenn do this offseason? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're number one on Kevin Cole's improvement index. Isn't that good? In other words, we improved the most. Now, we started out from a very bad position, so it's easier for us to improve by spending a lot of money, but nonetheless, that means we did a good job at least, if not great or amazing. We did a good job in acquiring players. That's what I was pissed off about last year. If you remember, we didn't acquire enough good players. This year, I think we have. And then you have Kevin Cole coming along and objectively saying, yeah, Jets are in first place right now, for as far as that goes. Now, in the past, the Jet fans always think we were the most improved, and maybe because we spent big money on C.J. Mosley or Le'Veon Bell or, this one or that one, and we spent all kinds of huge money and given out ridiculous contracts. That's not what we did this year. We're number one, and we really didn't hamstring the future at all. There's going to be some void years and some dead money, but that's any team. And so there really haven't been outrageous contracts to get these players over here. So I think that's good. Now, if you're familiar with football, you may know that there's basically three phases of the game. They're called offense, defense, and special teams. There's no more phases. That's it. That's all there is. Special teams, offense, and defense. That's all we got. All right, so how's our special teams looking? Huh? How that looking? Well, it was a top 5 unit last year, depending on how you measure it. Okay. Did we retain everybody? Yeah, except for the kicker. What about the kicker, Frankie? The kicker. What about the kicker? Now, of all the moves that Muji has made, I would say Cade York as the kicker is probably one of the worst. Now, here's the good news. He not gonna be our kicker. Who gonna be the kicker? Well, what if I told you there was a man from Japan, from Tokyo, in fact, and he's known as the Tokyo Toe? Yeah, there is. And he played for the University of Hawaii, and we could just draft him. So that fixes that. I do not think, after all, that Cade York is going to be the kicker. He's just a placeholder right now. We also have Lenny Krieg from Deutschland, but I don't think he's going to make it. I think we're going to draft the Tokyo Toe. Now, if we don't draft the Tokyo Toe, he's a very accurate kicker. He's one of the best ones, according to, everybody. But there's also, you might say, well, wait a minute. How do we play in New Jersey? We don't want a guy from Hawaii and from Japan and all over the place. We need somebody who can kick in the weather. All right, there's a good kicker coming out from Iowa. I almost said Ohio. Iowa. The Iowa Hawkeyes. Right? All right, we'll take him. I think his name is Stevens. Well, we'll take him because Iowa has all kinds of weather, rain and snow and cold. That's like New Jersey. All right, we'll take him. So one way or the other, we're going to get one of these guys, and hopefully they'll be the long-term answer. And we got the sniper as our punter, and everybody else came back. Beck came back. Nwango's back. Isaiah Williams back. Everybody back. Even Marcelino. So special teams, top 5 unit. We'll get a new kicker. And whether it's the Tokyo Toe or the kid from Iowa, whatever it is, we'll get our long-term kicker late in the draft, day 3, and we're done. So special teams, top 5. Okay, that's a good start. But the problem, Frankie, has been the offense and the defense, and they don't know what they're doing. Okay. Well, let's start with the offense. Last year we had a top 10 run game, and we were returning all the fellas. And we're improving on the left guard, Johnny Simpson. We got a slight improvement with Dylan Parham. And everybody else are coming back, including the tight ends. Everybody back. Breece Hall. And we're getting Braylon Allen back in the mix now, too. And he's going to be healthy. I saw some workout videos. He's perfectly fine. And so now we got our 3 backs. We got all the blockers. And we got an improved blocker at left guard. That was a top 10 run game with no quarterback. Understand. Defense is keying in on the run game. We still were top 10. Now, we got a gunslinger. Whatever you think of Geno, he's certainly a gunslinger, and he certainly knows how to hit open receivers, no matter how far down the field they are, because he's got a rifle, cannon, whatever euphemism you want to use. He can sling that thing. And if a guy's open, he can hit him. I've been watching the tape. He's not a perfect quarterback. He does have some flaws, mostly over-aggression, trying to fit the ball into a keyhole when he shouldn't. But nonetheless, if a guy's open, he's going to hit him no matter where he is down the field. Now, what about this Geno guy, though? Because you probably look at it and say, well, wait a minute. This guy threw 17 interceptions last year. He led the whole league. This guy stinks on ice. Well, not really, because he had a terrible team around him. He had the worst offensive line in football. He had no receivers, and the receivers he had were slow, except for Brock Bowers. Bowers got injured. Even his good offensive linemen like Colt Miller got injured. All the good linemen, so basically the best lineman they had was Dylan Parham. We stole his mother trucking butt and got to come over to the Jets. And JPJ is pretty good, but otherwise they had nothing. And a lot of pressure on Geno led to some of his picks, actually. And then the keyhole thing. And a lot of tip passes. There's a lot of tip passes with Geno for some reason, down the field, at the line. And they all get picked off. The worst luck in the world. But anyway, so here's the thing. If you protect Geno, then he can be a good quarterback. By good, I mean top 15, in my opinion. Top 15, 16, that's an average quarterback. I think that's what we're going to get. So if we had a top 10 running game with with one of the worst quarterbacking situations in football, how good can the running game be with an average quarterback? And what about this Frank Reich fella? Well, Frank Reich's history tells you if you give Frank Reich a good quarterback, which I believe Geno will be with the protection we're going to give him, then you get a top 10 scoring offense. These are facts from history that cannot be denied. That's what you get. If you were to give him a great quarterback, you could have a top 5 offense. So we're going to have a top 10 offense. That's the way I look at it. Between Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, the 2 receivers we're going to get by hook or by crook, trades, free agents are pretty much out at this point, but trades, the draft, we're going to get 2 more guys who can get open. And then what we already have, it's going to be a top 10 offense. You watch. Now, is it possible that Geno's just washed and he's going to throw too many picks and he's going to suck? Yeah, that's possible, but I mean, it's football. Anything's possible. I see a top 10 offense. Now, all right, but what about the defense? Because people were dog walking us last year and we couldn't stop anybody and it was horrible. All right. Well, number one, we spend a lot of money improving that defense, whether it be Kingsley Nagbare, Joseph Asai, Demario Davis, David Onyemata, Naishon Wright, you name it. We added a lot there. We're going to get some people back from injury, Azaria Thomas, Jarvis Brownlee, and most of our top draft picks are going to be on the defense. Arvell Reese, a safety, another defensive tackle. To add to Harrison Phillips, who's already good. Juwan Briggs, already good. And we traded for Tivondre Sweat, top 5 nose tackle or top 5 defensive interior in the league last year. That's a lot of influx of talent in here that we haven't had before. Add to that, Aaron Glenn is our new defensive coordinator in reality, even though Brian Duker, the Dukes of Hazzard, holds the title. It's really Aaron Glenn. What is Aaron Glenn known for? Well, when he was at Detroit, when he was the DC, he was known for schematic fluidity. His defense improved every single year and finally became a top 5 unit. As that unit got better and better players, they got better and better and better, and he was known for schematic fluidity, which is exactly what you need in the modern day NFL because of the ubiquity of tape, meaning everybody has tape, so you better show them unscouted looks, you better do surprising things, you better be ready to mix it up, because if you just do the same shit over and over again, the good quarterbacks, the good offenses are just going to pick you apart. And now with the influx of talent we got, plus a player like Arvell Reese and whoever else we get in these top, out of the top 4 picks that we have in the first 2 rounds, you're going to be able to have the kind of chess pieces that he had in Detroit and be able to maneuver them around in the ways that he did there. So I think we're going to have at least a top 15 defense. So wait a minute. So we're going to have, you're telling me we're going to have a top 5 special teams, Frankie, and a top 10 offense, and a top 15 defense? Oh, boy. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And what does that mean? Well, to me, it means one thing and one thing only. Playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, we're going to the playoffs. I got news for you. Now, all of this is pending. We got to have good luck with injuries, knock on wood. We got to have things work out. Arvell Reese, when we draft him, he's got to be good. He can't be a flame out. And same goes for whoever we take at 16 and 33 and 44 and so forth and so on. But that's the way I see it. And I'm not really sure how you could be. I mean, I guess if you're not watching the tape with Geno, you just think he sucks. That could be why there's so much pessimism. But if you actually would watch the tape like I have been, what you're going to see is a guy, when you protect him, he's an assassin. He's super aggressive. Now, is he elite? No, because he has flaws. He tries to, like I said, he's too aggressive at times. Sometimes he has this weird thing. He doesn't see the safety when he should. And so, like Kevin Byard got him twice Last year, I think it was. Sometimes I get the years confused right now. I'm on his 2024 year. But nonetheless, even with those flaws and even with an occasional pick, more picks than you like because he's being super aggressive trying to fit it into a keyhole, he shouldn't be trying to do that. But sometimes he does that, and it's an amazing thing. And if you have players who can catch the damn ball and you give them protection and guys who can get open, I think you could see maybe even a top 10 quarterback. And I'm saying this after watching the tape and acknowledging he does have limitations. There's things you wish he did a little better or a lot better. But nonetheless, if you protect him, which I believe we can, and if you give him a run game, which we should, and if you have receivers who get open, I mean, he has the experience, the arm talent. He's shown that he can be a high completion percentage quarterback already, and he throws a great deep ball. So in other words, you can mitigate the things he doesn't do well by the circumstances around him. Now, he's probably always going to throw too many picks. All right, that's not great. But at the same time, with Geno Smith, you're always in the game because if you need a gunslinger, he's going to be slinging guns. That guy, he's a gunslinger. Make no mistake about it. And he still has wheels, too. You can run pretty good. You know, he's not going to be Lamar out there. Nobody is. But he can still get you, you know, if they totally forget about him, he can still run and get you 10 yards and get a first down and slide, and he's pretty fast still. So he's not a statue back there either. So I don't know. Maybe the whole thing falls apart and maybe the coaching just doesn't take or the guys don't congeal and do you know, this and that. But I don't know. I don't even know what is the point of pessimism at this point. You know, right now we're in the off season, and if you can't be optimistic now, especially considering all the changes we've made, both in the coaching ranks and player quality increased in quality, why are you going to be pessimistic now? Like, okay, if we start losing, all right, and it's going downhill, then you could be like, all right, shoot, another lost season. But now is the time for optimism, and not to mention Captain DeMario's giving us our marching orders. We're going to shock the world, baby. So until we see otherwise, until then, I say we execute on that mission. And there's only one way to do that as a fan, and that's through optimism. At this point, we'll be pessimistic if we start seeing negative shit happening, but now is the time for optimism. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you think FSBN and the Frankie channel is something different than what other content creators do, subscribe to the channel or think about joining the Inner Circle where you get even more exclusive information and items. Ask the fellas about that. They'll tell you it's the best $2 a month they've ever spent in their whole lives. So why not consider joining the Inner Circle? There's a join button down there below. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustle and dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin on the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway hum, the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill, Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. pioneer, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, letting know